from the time when we were just amoeba. Before that, what happened and how we were created, this universe was created, I'll tell you tomorrow morning. It is not difficult to find out how this universe is organized. Every scientist who is open-minded can see for himself that this universe is a beautiful cosmos, is very well organized and has run very smoothly, and can also deduct that the creation of a universe, this particular universe, has led to the creation of this Mother Earth. Five million years back, about, this Mother Earth, in gaseous form, seceded and was cooled down. How was it cooled down? No one knows. But if it was cooled down, why is it not that cool as the sun is? Because in the science, nobody thinks as to how. They just accept as it is. They are not supposed to know, or they cannot find out because they have limitations. Why this thing happened? How it was done? It is easy to say there is no God, but very difficult to explain many things without saying that there is God. For example, the time that was taken for this universe to create a human being is so very short, that nothing can explain. If you use the law of chance, perhaps some of the mathematicians, if they are here, they may know, by which we can find out how many times the permutations and combinations have to work to create even a living cell. For example, in a test tube, if you have 50 red pills and 50 white pills, all arranged in such a manner that all the red ones are at the bottom and the white ones are on the top, you have to go on shaking them. And when you go on shaking them, they are all disorganized. Then to organize it fully, how many times one has to shake? They have discovered a formula that is n raised to power something something. According to this formula, if human beings are created by chance, it seems an impossible. Because the time that is taken so far is so short that only at the most maybe some living cell could have been created. Why? A complicated human being has been created. And so beautifully it is organized within ourselves that it is hard to believe that some juggler was not behind the show. There must have been some scientist who has achieved these results. It could not have been possible by some special hand to do these things. I mean, if there was no organization, no thinking behind it, no planning behind it, and no powerful personality behind it, the Almighty, it could not have been possible. science has its limitations. Of course, we cannot find out how it was expedited, how it took place. But we can see that we have achieved something in the field of science by one method. Perhaps that is the method that was used to trigger this also that fast. When I was young, as you are, when I was studying myself, that time I could never have believed that we could ever reach the moon. Nobody could have believed. If anybody would have said that, people would have laughed at such a conjecture. Even today, if you tell my grandmother, she does not believe it. She thinks it's just a story you are telling. But we have reached the moon, no doubt. In this system, we have used a very wonderful system of putting 5 capsules one into another. And the one capsule, the lowest capsule, explodes and triggers the movement of the rest of the 4. Then the second one explodes and gives an acceleration many more times than it was already moving. The speed increases in such a tremendous way that suddenly we find the acceleration is so multiple of the first one that the second one, when it explodes, it gives another push to the gas. Then the third one explodes at a point. Then the fourth one, and the fifth one is the one that contains the spacecraft. This kind of explosion from one to another, through that built-in mechanism, we have been able to achieve this tremendous speed and acceleration. In the same way, our evolution has taken place. We have got this idea without even knowing about our evolution from the unconscious. We have come to know how it has happened. But we cannot correlate both things together. So, in the same way, a human being was created out of amoeba, or amoeba was created out of all the elements in the same manner. We can say that we were made of again of 5 capsules. The first one is the physical. Our physical being. Inside the physical being was kept our mental being. Inside the mental being was kept the emotional being. Inside the emotional being was kept the spiritual being. And inside the spiritual being was kept the spirit. Or our attention, you can say. Kundalini is the one which triggers. That is the one that explodes. So Kundalini is in everything. The Kundalini force in everything. But the best it is, highest it is, the most effective it is in the human beings. Because force to evolve from carbon to amoeba stage, and amoeba to animal stage, and animal stage to human stage exists in everyone. Even in the elements it exists. Because the elements also evolve. We do not know how they evolve, but it happens in the nature. That elements start changing their forms and rings, and they become different elements. The mass changes, but we have no idea because we have no way of measuring the quantum of this change that is taking place. Then the animals also change, Animals change from many fishes. They become reptiles. Out of reptiles, many become mammals. From mammals, many become human beings. Or you can say then monkeys or quadrupeds and then human beings. All this happening takes place. How many are destroyed and how many become, how many are transformed? Nobody has measured it and nobody has kept any account of it. Today we talk of a population problem. Perhaps many animals have taken, but you can see the effect of that, the way people are behaving. You can be sure that many animals must have taken lives and they have yet to go lot of evolution and training as a human being to understand the value of human life. But once a human being starts evolving within himself, now we have been human beings, as they say, for 14,000 years. I think it is even more than that. So we have been human beings, say, for 14,000 years. We have been inside growing through our freedom. Human beings are the only people who get freedom to evolve themselves, to understand what is wrong and what is bad. This freedom is granted because without freedom you cannot go any further. For example, when you are studying in the schools, you are told 2 plus 2 is 4. Then you are given tables and you are told that 2 times tables are like this. You remember by heart and it is like this. We do not question that 2 by 10, why is it 2 into 10, why is it 20? We do not question, we just go on and on and on. But when you reach a certain standard of education, say a graduation or a post-graduation standard, then you are given free to write thesis on this subject. Why is it that when you multiply 2 by 10, it is 20? Because you have reached a certain stage of development, at this stage you are given freedom to find out for yourself. That is how you are developed. And then, by this development, you can teach the other people who are coming up. This is the way the evolution has been. So far, you have not felt your evolution. From amoeba to this stage, you have not felt. You do not know how you became a human being. You just take it for granted. Even if you see your eyes, they are so complicated. It's such a complicated organ that if you start studying them, you'll be amazed how things are made. If you just pick a print in my finger, immediately there's a reflex action. It is so nicely built. It is so nicely arranged. It is so quick. It is so efficient that one is surprised and amazed at the wonders of this kind of organization that is this human body. But you see what human beings are. They are inefficiency personified. I sent 4 telegrams to my daughter and today she says that she received 1 telegram after 1 month. Human beings have been given freedom to understand and to develop their own efficiency, to receive the ultimate knowledge of the creator of this creation, the powers of this creation. And that is why a Kundalini is placed in the human beings alone. Though there is Kundalini force and there is Kundalini in another form in everything else that exists, only in the human being, when they get their freedom, this force is kept in the triangular bone, dormant, to trigger the last jumping into the unknown. Now this is there. This Kundalini exists. But to begin with, if I say, before starting all this creation, who was created first is most interesting and may not be very congenial to the mind of a scientist. It is much beyond science I am talking now. That much before anything was created on this earth, holiness was created. What we call the Pavit. Sri Ganesh is the deity of that holiness. God has created this holiness to protect His creation. This atmosphere of holiness He created to protect all the people, all the creative things which are being there, which are being created by Him. Otherwise, nothing would work out. Just think, if one of the oceans was deeper even by 10 feet, the balance of earth would have toppled down. Just imagine what a speed this Mother Earth has. She revolves with such a tremendous speed, goes around the sun regularly in a proper way, not in a round way, but in a special style, as you know. She creates day and night for you, night to rest and day to work. How she herself has created this beautiful atmosphere for you and has maintained the balance and the temperature that was given to her is only done by the power of holiness that was created around. Now, man in his foolishness is challenging that holiness. He thinks he can challenge God. That's the sign of his dwarfness. If he had risen that height where he could feel God pulsating in everything, he would never have done that. But before he could reach that state of perfection, he has started talking about God. Who is going to challenge his authority of this stupid man who doesn't want to achieve his perfection and wants to talk big? All pervading power is there of holiness, which corrects, which guides, which coordinates, which loves, and which organizes everything for you to get this awakening within you. So one must understand how Kundalini awakening is the most important thing that has to happen. Kundalini awakening is the only way you are going to know your spirit, your Atma. This is the most important happening in the history of creation. It's like the garden you spread out. You lay out the garden, you put down everything, you plant the trees have the flowers, and now the time has come, the fruits must appear. It's the most important thing and has to happen to every individual who is seeking the truth. The trouble with truth is that also you have to seek with humility in your own freedom. Nobody can hypnotize people for seeking truth. Those who are hypnotized cannot understand. In all your awareness, in all your freedom, in all your understanding, in all your dignity, you have to get the knowledge of truth. But it is not just giving you a lecture that you are going to understand. It's not brainwashing. That is being done all nonsensical people throughout. It is the happening, the actualization, by which You reach that state of awareness by which you develop the dynamics of collective consciousness. Collective consciousness. By which you become collectively conscious. Is an awareness which develops within you. Is real actualization. As you are a human being, you know that when this capsule of human being was triggered, you got lots of things as your awareness more than that of animals. The university itself. Animals don't have any universities. Animals don't understand gardens. They don't understand dirt and filth. They don't understand beauty. All this has come to you, built within you, manifested as soon as you became human beings. So, as soon as you become a superhuman being, you become aware of yourself within and you become aware of others within. This is the collective consciousness stage. This is what Sahaja Yoga is. Sahaja Yoga is the system of nature. Is the system. The way this creation took place is also Sahaj. Built-in Sahaja. Sa means with, Ja means born. Everything is within you, like a seed if you see. Seed has the primule within it to sprout. The seed has the complete map of the tree that it is going to be and the trees it is going to be. The whole thing is in the seed. In the same way, in the human seed, the whole picture of what he is going to be is built in. The whole mechanism is placed within it. Now these are the undercurrents of your being, which I will be describing this evening to you. What are the forces that have built up human beings which are inside? Only thing I would like to say, that you are like a computer made. You are already made like a computer. Only thing is, you are to be put to the mains. If you are put to the mains, then the computer starts working by itself. But it is not the way you understand a machine. You are a human being. And you know what is love. To a scientist, I cannot talk of love. I am talking of divine holiness, the love of God which has created you, which wants you to know Him. Through science, you cannot know love. Every scientist must be loving somebody. If not his children, at least his dog. He must be loving flowers. If not flowers, he might be loving his horses. But he knows what is love. And if he can understand that spark of love, from where it has come. Love that I am talking about is the synthesis of all these parts. Science deals with only a very little of it. I will also tell you which part of this power deals with our physical being and out of which how much a scientist knows. You will be surprised if the knowledge is an ocean, the scientist knows only a drop. And to know the ocean, the drop is to be dissolved in the ocean. But the drop cannot, by his effort, become the ocean. The ocean has to dissolve the drop. And that is what the ocean has to do it if his creation has to have its fulfillment. And his beautiful creation is manifested in the human beings. The human being must find out his fulfillment. If he cannot find out his fulfillment, he cannot reach any perfection in any one of his endeavors, and God himself will not rest till he does that. Because who would like to destroy one's own creation of thousands and thousands of years of a pre-planned thing? This has to come to its fulfillment. And if it is done by me, if I am the person who is supposed to trigger your Kundalini, why should you have any objection? Thank God I was not a scientist. Otherwise I would have finished my life making an atom bomb. Thank God I am not a psychologist. Otherwise I would have gone mad listening to mad people. Thank God I am not a politician. You know how they are. Thank God I am none of these. I am just your mother. Concerned, absolutely concerned about your ultimate well-being and not superficial things. We'll have the meditation now. That's more important than any one of these lectures. I've already given 84 tapes to these London people. I've been speaking and speaking every day 2 to 3 lectures. Best thing is to have it. Now some of you who do not get it should not get upset with it. If you do not get it, there is nothing to bother. If you get it, well and good. If you don't get it, you will get it this evening, if not tomorrow. It is a very subtle happening. It should happen to you. If it happens, immediately you will find the relaxation will come. But the best thing that happens to you is, first of all, is your physical being is absolutely put right. Now this lady now has come here with a very serious disease. If she had come to me earlier, Benji, कहाँ जा रहे हैं? Lecture बस सुना है, जल्दी आ जाइए वापस. Then don't disturb. आ जाओ जल्दी. So if this lady had come to me earlier, she would never have got this disease. If she had come to me and got her realization, she would have been all right today. But she said she did not know about it. What's the use of getting ill and then coming to me asking for my blessings and all sorts of things instead of getting your realization first of all and keeping a very good health to begin with? It comes to you as a byproduct. Good health comes to you as a byproduct. It is not the ultimate, because say now how you have decorated when I am coming in here. In the same way, if the light has to come, the divine has to shine, your own body is cleansed, is beautified and is made healthy. That as a byproduct. But that's not the ultimate. The light has to come within you. The reality has to be pulsating within you. And unless and until that happens, everything else has no meaning. The other things that can happen is if you are mentally also upset, as I said, the physical, the mental, the emotional, then the spiritual, and then beyond that is the state of complete bliss, of collective consciousness is established. In the space you are thrown. In the same way, it happens within you. So naturally, all these things are exploded and normalized, and the ultimate is established in the space. Whatever is useless or sick falls off. Whatever is beautiful comes up. As in the tree you have seen that when the fruit comes up, so many things have to drop. In the same way, all that is not wanted drops out, and all that is required shows itself and manifests. It's a very beautiful happening, should happen to all of you. But again I would like to tell you, it is a very subtle happening. It was never this way, only for the first time that it has started working this way, that it is given to people who are Sarvasamana, who are simple people, ordinary people, leading a very simple life. Because it has to happen that way. Because supposing there is a discovery of electricity by one person, which has a big history behind it, and he discovers something, and he does not make it useful for the common people. If the common people cannot benefit by it, if the ordinary people cannot understand it, it has no meaning. In the same way, Sahaja Yoga has to go to common people. Everybody must understand. Otherwise, people like Christ were crucified, nobody understood him. People like Kabira, nobody understood. People like Nanaka was tortured. People like Muhammad Sahib was given poisons. And every one of them had to just suffer because of the ignorance of the common people. Today the time has come for common people to realize. Let's try. How many of you get it? If you get it, then it's a subtle thing. But to settle into Sahaja Yoga, you have to practice. You have to come at least once a month, at least minimum, to a general program, because it is a collective program. It's a common program, and that's why it is going to work out in collective. Individually it is not going to work out. Individually it's very difficult. As you know about Hatha Yogis, how they had to stay in the jungles. Before they were 25 years of age, Hatha Yoga was to work out with Ashtanga. Not the way the modern Hatha Yoga is, all wrong, absolutely wrong. It should not be. It's a wrong style. Because this kind of Hatha Yoga takes your attention only to your physical being and gives you an imbalance. The other day I had somebody who was a great Hatha Yogi and he had a heart attack. So he told me he got a heart attack after doing Hatha Yoga. So I said, then what did he do? He said, they gave me another yoga to remove this heart attack. And when he came before me, he was shaking, just like this. So I told him, ask the man who is shaking. And this man was a possessed man from a lunatic asylum. I said, this is what had happened to your nerves. Why? Who had asked you to break your neck for nothing at all? There was no need for you to go to such extremes. You should have just waited. You would have got your realization. Of course, asanas also have a play, but you must understand the complete shastra, complete science of all these things must be understood. But that is after realization, not before. For example, you are suffering from stomach problem, and if you start using asana for your neck, you had it. Your neck will be gone and your stomach will be gone. So there is a big science behind it. And those who understand the science do not use it for such a long time, every day, religiously. There is no need to. Whenever there is some need, then only take the medicine. Do you go on staying in a medicine shop all your life just to keep healthy? Same thing is about mantra. Mantra also has got a very big science. Once you understand that science, that is the big thing. Without realization, mantra also has no meaning. Those who give you mantras are people who are absent. They don't understand any meaning of mantra, I can tell you. Because I have seen the way they have ruined the chakras and things, and the kundalini doesn't rise. The basic thing is that your kundalini must rise. Those people who spoil your kundalini, I do not like them at all. Some of them spoil because they are naive. They don't know what to do about kundalini because they are not authorized. They are not holy people. They are not realized souls. They are not supposed to do it. So they spoil your kundalini. They make money out of it. Because anybody can sell anything, you see. Anybody can say, I am a kundalini awakener. What can you do about a person? God is not going to come and arrest you for that. You are arrested in a way. But that's a very subtle way of arresting which nobody understands. That these are the punishments of our wrongdoing. Those who try to do it in a naive way can be forgiven. Even those who make money, I can forgive them because this is a silly thing that's going on everywhere. But those who do it deliberately are definitely the devils. I call them Danavas, the Rakshasas. Because deliberately to spoil somebody's kundalini, just to entice them and to hypnotize them to use for your own purpose is absolutely Satan, is against the purpose of God. And that's why I call them as the devil. So let us have the experience. You put your hands towards me and